Okay. Well, that wasn't smooth.
You all right?
Yeah, I didn't even do the countdown thing.
You want me to do that for you? Do do do
do
do do
do
do
do do do. Well,
do
nobody's on
do.
yet, so
2019.
what's going on?
What's up, man?
We are live, even though we were already live.
Just a few seconds. A
Just a
little
second or
extra.
two.
Some Easter eggs there at the beginning.
We're going to give it a little bit of time for some people to jump on, but I want to go ahead and say welcome to Just Huckin' Around Disc Golf Podcast with me, Daddy Delp, and this guy over here.
Baysinger from Baysinger's Disc Golf Channel.
Yep. We are into our first episode of 2023. It is new year, new things coming. So
Yes, sir.
it's a pretty exciting thing.
Mm-hmm.
Check out this shirt here. This is
Love
my
it.
disc golf shirt. You should be able
Love
to
it.
find it somewhere below. Uh, we've got a Just Hucking Around Disc Golf Podcast shirt as well that I've just put up. And Baysinger has merch over on his channel for whenever we do his podcast on next week. Should be on Sunday at the same time. So
Correct.
we'll see. Share this out if you would, so we can get some more viewers in. I know Staley said he would be coming on here at some point. He couldn't make it immediately. So,
Nice.
how was your New Year's?
It was very good. We went birding today, and then I threw a few discs at the park a little bit after that. So had a fun, eventful day today. How about yourself?
It was good. We went to church today. Last night, Charlotte got to stay up past past bedtime, which is actually probably not, but like maybe an hour past bedtime if we're being realistic.
Nice.
Because
Yeah.
we cannot get her in bed, but she passed out at about 12:05 on the couch.
Hmm.
So about a general New Year's, we just kind of chilled. We went to a little restaurant beforehand and ate with with Allie's family and stuff. Then came home because Levi is not going to be out till 12. So yeah, we came up, but it was good. Good New Year. Nothing too crazy though.
Nice.
Hey, you had a pretty interesting story you posted. I saw about a bird when you talked. You just mentioned birding. That
Yeah.
sounded pretty nuts.
Yeah. It was pretty crazy. We Amanda and I were able to, we think, possibly save a little yellow-bellied sapsucker's life yesterday.
That's pretty
Hopefully,
crazy.
we
I
think
mean,
we did.
it sounded like a pretty crazy thing to roll up on because you said another woodpecker was just pecking at it on the ground.
Yeah, so we were driving slowly from one spot to the other, and we saw a woodpecker looked like it was flapping, and we thought the one that was flapping its wings was the injured one at first, and then we slowed down when we went past it and saw that it was on top of another woodpecker. So we decided to pull over and see what was going on, and yeah, it was. When once we got over to it, the other one flew away. It looked like it was attacking the other one, maybe not. We're not sure, but yeah, it flew. That one flew off, and the other one was just laying on its back, looking up at us. It was breathing and everything, had its eyes open, but it wasn't moving much. But
It's crazy.
yeah, it was wild.
If y'all can't tell, if you didn't know, Baysinger is an avid birder,
Yeah,
and I like to look at them. I don't call myself a birder, but I think it would be cool to do it. I just haven't actually went to do it before, so
Hey, there's a video idea for us. We'll go do a round. Lehman would be a great place to do it
It
because
would
there's
be.
a lot of birds there. I know that for sure.
And there has been, I've not seen them before, but you showed me the marks of it. There has been a yellow belly
Yeah,
sapsucker there
yeah,
before because on that tree they do that little pattern you
little
told me.
holes.
Yeah,
Yep,
I didn't know that until you said that.
yep.
But so I think we can go ahead and get started after that little go. We've got a few viewers on, so we're gonna start off this podcast here, kind of New Year's style. So we're gonna approach this. I don't generally call myself a New Year's resolution type of person, um,
Mhm.
but I thought it would be fun for us to go through a little bit and talk about some resolutions or goals that we have for the season coming up. Whether it has to be disc golf related, it doesn't have to be. Um, but as we're talking about it, y'all can go ahead and comment below too, and let us know if there's some stuff that y'all have in mind for goals this year, resolutions and stuff. So I see Stelly has joined.
Where's
We
mother?
got mothers in there as well. So yeah, you guys share this out for us. I know y'all are in here, so y'all are good dudes. So we'll get this going. So you want me to kind of start off with some stuff, or you got anything in mind?
Yeah, go for it. If you're ready, go for it.
So for me, I mean, this some of these might kind of tie in with what we talked about, like wish list almost too, but
Mm-hmm.
not exactly. Um, for me, this upcoming Steven,
Steven.
hello Steven, season. Um, I've had a goal for a while of getting. I try to set small goals, but having an overall goal. Um, Good way to do goals in general, but I want to get to 975 rated.
Nice.
I've gotten to 965, fallen back to 958, went to 962, 959 again, and I think I'm at 959 or 960 or something right now. I can't remember, but I think that is one of my goals. I want to do that, or at least averaging over my rating at every tournament I play.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a big one that I've got, and also trying to get some better content out and getting a little bit more better at my editing because right now I don't know if it's the holiday season or what, but I'm not saying my editing is bad, but the time frame I give myself to edit is very small. It's like uh, 3 hours sometimes to get a video out up and live.
Yeah.
So doing some stuff like that, and just form work and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe getting my kid out with me more and doing some more rounds. I need to get her outside more and
Mm-hmm.
playing and stuff. I like seeing how you all go with your family and stuff and go play some rounds and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun.
Although a 4-year-old's kind of hard to contain for more than like 3 holes, but
Yeah.
I want to do some stuff like that. Maybe get Allie back out throwing more. She used to play quite a bit with us until she had a baby. And then she went back out, and then we had another baby. So that kind of slows it down a little bit.
I mean,
So
if y'all quit having babies, maybe she'll play disc golf more often.
I
I
think
don't
we
know.
might be at that spot. We might be
Uh,
there. But yeah, that's some of my New Year's resolutions I have at the moment. But like I said, those are just goals that I generally kind of keep as well.
mhm.
But what about yourself?
Um, honestly, my number one goal for 2023 is I want to try and break over 100 courses played. That's one
Oh,
thing I'm at. I don't know the exact number because I need to go back and add some little like temp courses in to my actual count. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe I'm at like 85 to 87 somewhere around in there. So I definitely want to try and break 100. Like
I had to throw this.
what have you?
Stelly.
That's mine. Sorry about that, silly.
Yeah. Mine was doing it before we got on, and we were both just sitting here, like you said, in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Both so for audio listeners, I can't. I
Listeners.
say that every podcast too is listeners. Um, Stelly commented to us that one of our computers is trying to murder people in Texas with a chainsaw. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll try to maybe work on the noise whenever I put it up on the podcast. So
Yeah.
uh,
This is mine. I can get it to go off, but I'd have to sit here and hold it and squeeze it. And I like you guys, but not that much. So
well, Allie told me that she's like, oh well, what I used to do sometimes was just smack it
yeah,
and stuff, and I was like, I was afraid it would break
yeah.
right before the thing.
Just,
So
another
I feel like
goal.
we're gonna bleed here. Oh my gosh, y'all are killing me. Okay,
Uh,
yeah.
another goal of mine would be, and I see Jacob Standard. Shout out Jacob in the comments there.
Oh yeah,
Good
Jacob
buddy of
put that.
mine. But my goal is to get back over 900 rate. I was there at one point in time. I was up to 910, I believe, is what I reached at one point in time. And I don't know. I just haven't been able to get back up over that. A few, some good rounds and some bad rounds. You know how it goes. It's a grind. But I'm also not one of those guys that focuses too much on the ratings because sometimes they don't seem quite accurate, I'll say, because I had a couple of rounds that were league rounds go in that were both higher than my PDGA rating. And I was like, oh, I can't wait because my rating is going to go up. And it went down. So I was
Yeah,
like,
you probably had ratings drop off that were higher or something.
yeah,
Ratings are a big weird thing to me. Um, I understand what they were meant to be back in the back. Your
I'm
face
sorry.
when that kicked on.
Kick back up.
You're the one getting murdered.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
me.
no,
If I don't make it through the night, blame my computer.
so the way that I understand it from back in the day, which it makes sense to me, is that ratings were developed really for back when like Climo and all them were competing, and when people were not competing at the same events all the time.
Okay.
So you had a way to place players and give them a kind of like a skill rating without them competing against each other. So Ken Climo, he was a California guy, right?
Climo? No,
Yeah,
Florida.
he was Florida.
Hmm.
Who was California guy that was
Patrick
big?
Brown.
Maybe Patrick Brown and some of them back in that era. There was
Error.
very error. Uh, very little uh, or very few times was it that they ever saw each other in competition. So the rating system was to be like, okay, he is shooting this much and beating people this much, so his rating went this way. And then over when they're not competing against each other, it showed that these people kind of skill wise was the same, so that they could tell where they stood against each other, how much they
Hmm.
were beating other people and stuff. So that was my understanding. Now that's kind of pointless for pros because almost every
Right.
pro is playing against each other at every event, every weekend.
True.
And like you said, there's obvious flaws, in my opinion. I mean, it's very angering. I've had this happen a few times personally. Is go play a course, a tournament, and play really well, and I go, oh, I played better than I did last time, and then my rating come in like 10 points lower than what I did the last time. So I
Right.
shot like a 8 under or something, and the time before I shot a 6 under, and the 6 under was rated higher
Yeah. It's crazy.
because of who was there
Right. Yeah.
and how the scores maxed out. So I think like a course rating like golf would make more sense than a rating based off the players exactly, because then you just set maximums. But that's probably not going to happen for a while unless somebody took
Yeah.
over. Somebody
I mean,
else
there
took
would
over.
have to be some sort of company that has, people would have to have permits to do it, to go out, or at least have some sort of license to go. They've know how to rate a particular course, and then they would go rate that course, and then
Yeah.
and there's just not. I mean, as good as I do, there's constantly new courses. At
Yeah.
one point in time, I thought it was possible for me to play every course in Tennessee, and now I've given up on that. There's no way, I mean,
I never thought it would. I've never said it like to myself. It would be possible for me to play any course in any state, unless it was like a state that had a population of 10, and they had a disc golf course. Now I played every course.
yeah, but yeah. I
I
mean,
was
you'd
gonna.
have to go somewhere like, what's the little small states up in the New
Well,
England
I
way,
was
like
thinking of like what's that, like Prince something Island or something up there. I think it's technically Canada
Canada. Yeah,
or something like that. I think they have maybe like one
one, yeah,
course or something like that, like one of those things. I could check that off.
yeah,
Bucket list: play every course in one state and just go to that state that has one course.
yeah,
Bucket list complete. Hawaii, you probably could do it.
yeah, probably.
You probably
But
could.
Hawaii, I know this for a fact, has some object courses.
I just think it'd
They
be cool to
use.
go because it's not very large. I've never been, but I
Hmm.
would assume it would be one of the easier places to find the disc golf courses because I'm assuming it's not like a huge
Yeah,
thing there. I don't know. It could be, but
I had a
uh,
traveling disc visit there once.
yeah, that was that was the
No,
disc, right?
yeah, no, actually, that was the second one.
That was the second
But
one. Okay,
yeah,
then I'm
which
having
is also gone now.
what?
As far as I've not heard anything about it, so yeah,
Do you have
there was actually three.
Do you
There
have
was
those that one that everybody signed? I signed one.
the team
The
one,
one that we sent or
the
something.
AVR. Yes, I do
Yeah.
have that one.
Okay.
That
I
one
was.
never left. It's actually hanging up on my wall right up
Oh,
there in the
okay.
living
I
room.
was gonna
So
say, man,
yeah,
I'm gonna
no, I've
be
got that
really
one.
sad. What is wrong with people?
Eh, I don't know, man.
If you don't know, Baysinger had a. It was a really cool idea. I mean, this was before I YouTubed, and it was a traveling disc that he sent around, and you explain it because I'll miss something.
So basically, it was a disc, and we were sending it from state to state to state, and trying to have that same disc being thrown in all 50 states in the U.S. and then come back to Tennessee. Well, it was going to be thrown to 49, then come back to Tennessee, and us on BDGC was going to be the last ones to throw it in Tennessee. So uh, we were having everybody play one hole on a local course, whatever they chose, and sign it. So that disc, it was an Axiom Envy. Had actually visited the MVP factory. The two brothers that own MVP signed it, and there's
Man,
pictures of it in the factory. Chad or Brad, whichever one of the two, I can't remember, had a picture of him holding it out and in the MVP warehouse. And that one, uh, its fate was sealed once it visited a certain individual who I will not name. But and then the second one started. I started it back up, and I'm not sure. I think the last I saw it was in Florida or something like that. And then there was actually a third, which was a traveling media disc,
I
which was on
remember that
different
one.
channels, and it was last seen in the hands of Robbie C. Disc Golf, and has not been seen yet
Oh,
since.
really?
It's in one of his videos, but he never filmed him putting with it. And
Oh, really?
I messaged him, and he said he sent it to someone. I never followed up on it because he never even did a video with it, and I don't even know who the other guy was. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Oh, Charlie said, "Call me in." It's probably about the PDGA.
yeah. Hey, Charlie's got that old school knowledge, man.
Oh, I'm sure.
I
Tag
can't
in.
wait.
Wham!
I can't wait till we beat him on the course.
I know, man. It's gonna be glorious.
Said it.
Yeah. See, I don't even think his doubles partner's on here, so we
Mm,
can beat up on him all we
yeah.
want.
He already said ha ha ha.
Oh, good Charlie.
Ha.
Um, no, that's just that's me. with the ratings and everything is like I see them as a good way to gauge yourself in general, but when you want to be very accurate with how you're performing, it's not 100% because like I said, the one example I gave was enough for me to know I don't need to lean on it too hard, but have it as a goal.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you can't help sometimes too, the way the ratings are is if you go and shoot your best score you've ever played at a course, and some other dude shoots 18 under
That's in a lower division.
in a lower division,
Yeah.
or if just Dickerson decides to show up and wants to shoot 18 under, then
Right. Yeah.
he will.
Yeah.
That's what happened at that hybrid I played. The last tournament I played here this year was like he shot 17 under the first round
Hmm.
and was beating me by how many strokes? I said 17. I think he was 13 strokes ahead of me
Wow.
in the first round. And then I shot like a 10 under second round or something like that. And I think he beat everybody by at least 10 or something like that. It was just like he went out and he shot 17 under in his practice round as well. So it wasn't just like, oh, I'm on fire. It's just like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm normal.
Yeah.
This is my normal. So I think he was just kind of like messing around the second round, just having fun. So
Yeah.
when that kind of stuff happens, which in general, if you've got kind of a local pro that's a touring pro around your area, that's bound to happen to you at some point.
Hmm.
You're going to play for second.
We just happen to be around the area where Chris and Zach both are, so
Yeah, it can.
it's yeah.
If you're playing open, then you're just like, awesome. Maybe I can get on the card and watch
Hmm.
something miraculous.
I remember when I used to work with Seth, used to work at Halo with me, and Adam at the same time. And I remember Seth and Adam would be like, "Well, let's go fight for second place this weekend."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's the mindset a lot of people have whenever he shows up. This is
Hmm.
a good comment right here. Charlie tagged in. So I'll read this for the audio listeners. So pre-course blow up and pre-multiple pin placements ratings was set by the course, not the player. So it was like this: 1,000 rated player would score 10 rounds on a course, mostly in tourneys, and the average of those rounds would be considered 1,000 rated for that course.
That's cool.
I mean, I feel like that's the most simple way to do it. Although, like he said, that's without having pin place like alternate pin placements or something like that, which I'm assuming maybe you could do that eventually with getting each layout rated
Yeah.
so that if it's in a tournament play, and you could have alternate layouts as well as just when it came to a tournament, you would have to choose layouts. I think that would be a way better way of doing it
Hmm.
than
Now, how
the
was?
way it is.
I'd like to ask Charlie if he doesn't mind here. How was that done? Was that done solely on tournament rounds, or was there? Did they just go out and do like rated? You know what I mean? Were these like course tester rated rounds or something like that?
Let's
Because I
see.
feel like to get one player to play 10 rounds, that would take some time tournament wise, right?
Probably. I mean, yeah, he said. I mean, the problem is there's just so many layouts now.
Oh,
You would
correct.
you
Yeah.
would literally the thing is logistics of it now is changing a rating system
Hmm.
is logistics of it now because it is so much more widespread. That's the
Hmm.
problem. So I mean, I guess in theory, really, ratings are just a good gauge, and they're maybe just something that's eventually destined to peter out
Yeah,
or
true.
just not be relevant. Really, I mean, I
Hmm.
don't think many pros are counting them as too relevant anymore. More of like a gauge, anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the top pros, the ones that are on the disc golf pro tour at least, are looking more at their DGPT rating versus the PDGA rating.
I mean, right now, I mean, this will tell you something too. Uh, is that all the any of the players that we have been watching here recently, none of them are actually the highest rated player in the world anymore.
Mm.
Manabu, I think his
Yeah.
name's Manabu Kajiyama, just went to
Yeah.
the highest rated player in the world, but he's not been over here touring. So I mean, that's one of those situations where he's playing, probably thumping. everybody that's where he's at
Right.
and getting those huge rating. I mean that 17 under that Chris shot was like 1060 something rated,
Hmm.
almost 1070 rated. So I mean, if you're doing that and blowing the people away, I mean you can shoot 8 strokes behind Dickerson and probably still almost shoot 1,000 rated at that point. But
Hmm.
but
So Charlie said it
that's
was well, it was one person play 10 rounds, so it wouldn't be like tournaments.
they just had to rate the course. It didn't have to be
Yeah.
tournaments. So they just had to go play it and see what their average score was, I
Hmm.
guess. So if they averaged a 9 under, then that would be 1,000 rated. Because he said 1,000 rated player would do it. So
Yeah.
at some point you got to figure out how you get the 1,000 rated player. But now you got so many that have been deemed 1,000 rated, you probably could you'd pick the highest rated one that would be willing to do it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting thing, and it was kind of like a little. Uh, I don't even know how we got there, but I guess it's something to talk about.
Yeah.
PGA
Yeah.
ratings
True.
from New Year's resolutions. We got there somehow, but I don't remember how.
Because we ramble. That's
We
why.
do. We are rambling men, and that's
That
how we
is
do.
for sure.
I wish I had videos of both of us playing guitar right now, and I could go, "Oh, he's going through an earthquake over there." It's
Well,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre
I,
and an earthquake.
I keep noticing. I'm sorry, everyone who's watching, but I keep noticing that my computer keeps sliding over, and I'm afraid it's going to slide off my record player here. So
T Rex disc golf,
that's
ADHD.
who T Rex. You
Yeah,
know who
that's
Jacob. Yeah.
Sandridge, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I've actually still got some of his discs that I bought off of him a while back. He's got his stamp on them.
Hmm.
He does some
I,
dies, so I recognize the die people. I've kind of petered off on dying because I just have zero time.
yeah.
But if we want to move on, one of the things I wanted to touch on in this episode was some of the notable players that we've been seeing uh, announcing leaving or teams that they've went to
Hmm.
already. There's only a couple I think that actually announced, but we're gonna see what you guys think about this and also Baysinger. Um, so we had Anthony Barella leaving Innova, which is a pretty big shocker to me. I think he's been with them probably from the beginning of his career,
Hmm.
basically. So that was a big surprise. Honestly, I mean, Innova's kind of, I don't know what Innova's doing, honestly. They just don't care about players right now, I don't think. Like, they don't need them, I
Yeah.
think, is how they look at it. But they've got Sexton. He's staying.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
Yeti, he announced.
Yeah.
I think they care more about, like, the core, like I said, almost like they just want to have the OGs on their team that are
Yeah.
not playing a ton of like major events anymore because that's what it feels like. But
Hmm.
we had Anthony Barella, then Emerson Keith, which he was he dynamic or like latitude
Hmm.
maybe
Dynamic. Yeah.
latitude.
Oh,
So
no latitude. Yeah.
he was latitude, right?
Yeah.
Which he announced where he's going to. So he's going to Lone Star Discs. Lone Star's
Hmm.
scooping people up. So now they've got Nico and Chandler Kramer, who busted onto the scene. He was already sponsored by them. So,
Hmm.
and then now they got Emerson Keith, which is a pretty big name for them to pull out, I think. And it made sense because he's a Texas guy. But we had Thomas Gilbert leaving Prodigy
Hmm.
and going to Thought Space Athletics. So he's going open bag. So he can actually still throw stuff he wants. So it's going to be interesting to see on that.
Hmm.
Charlie said,
Yeah. I read
okay,
that.
yeah. Uh, that's a funny.
I mean, he's
That's a
not
funny.
wrong.
He's not wrong. But
Well.
so he went to Thought Space, and you know what I thought was funny? I was wondering. I'm assuming Kevin Jones is still under contract. I think, but
Mhm.
did you see that video they did with Jomez where they were in Texas? I think at that. I don't remember which course it is. They have one called the Beast there. too.
Yes.
And maybe there, and there's that hole that's next to the river. They did this challenge, him and Thomas Gilbert, where they took a bunch of Prodigy discs and they were thrown from like a mountain on the other side of the river,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
and they threw like seemed like 40 discs into the river.
yeah, I did
I
not
was
like that.
I was just like, wouldn't it be just a crazy uh, way for like Kevin Jones to be like, I'm pieced out, and Thomas Gilbert did too, and they were just literally chucking all their discs into the
Their whole
river, not
bags.
caring, because they were just like everything they thought was going to do one thing was doing the other. Like the D1s
Yeah.
were flipping over, and the M4s were stable
Hmm.
and going to further. So I was like, wouldn't that be crazy if they were just like, yeah, we're not going to be throwing these anymore, so just let's go rip them into to the river or something. Which he's like I said, he's not announced or anything, so don't get me twisted on anything like that. I just thought that would be interesting since Thomas Gilbert did announce,
Yeah.
and there's supposedly some big players supposedly leaving a company here at some point too. So I was like, that'd be
Hmm.
funny. If I mean, it would be funny for the way they did it, but like you said, throwing 40 discs to the river,
But
and
yeah, I thought that
um,
was kind of a bad look, honestly, for Joe Maz, and
it was.
you know, I
It was
mean,
kind of just like I watched the entire thing, but it was kind of like I watched it with my head turned sideways. Like,
yeah, yeah.
why?
I mean, it's
Why are
fun to
they doing?
watch, but it's like, well, you got companies out here like Trash Panda doing the intercore, like
And they're
growing
using
the sport
100%
sustainably.
recycled. Yeah,
Yeah, and then they're just throwing discs into the river and just being like, well,
but
sorry.
like just the whole feel of the video was just like I don't care.
Yeah,
We're just gonna
yeah.
chuck these discs, and that's why I was like, they got like 40 discs here. It seemed like, and they just
Hmm.
maybe maybe like 10 of them didn't go in the river or something like that. It's what it seemed like.
Yeah.
So I was like, what if that was the exit for both of them, and they were just like, it don't matter. But then,
You ready for my hot take of the podcast? Since I always have at least one.
yeah, go ahead.
Prodigy giving up 40 discs for their top players to throw in the river while their street team players got to pay for their discs.
I
Hot
mean,
take.
I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Uh, that's funny.
Why don't they just give those 40 discs to street team members?
They could have,
There's an
yeah.
idea.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they got a few of those back, but that river looks completely like a river that's going to be extremely hard to get many of those back.
Oh, yeah.
And you're in Texas too, so I mean, who wants to go on the river in Texas
Oh,
unless
those
you're from
discs are,
Texas?
yeah, those discs are in the Gulf of Mexico right now. Like they're gone.
But branching off of that, like I said, now Kevin Jones is. I think Charlie even said he thinks he has 3 more years in his contract because he did sign a
Yeah.
big contract.
Hmm.
So unless he breaks contract or something, he's not announced or anything. But they did lose Gavin Babcock,
Right.
and he has not announced. And I think that's a pretty. Um, it's not a huge blow to him, but it's significant enough because he was one that had a decent season
Hmm.
coming up, just like Alden Harris. Which I mean, Alden, Gavin, and Gannon
Hmm.
were all uh, like that, like doing blogs and stuff,
Hmm.
and always kind of like almost like the Three Amigos type of thing now for Prodigy. So with Gavin gone, that could be something for them. But I don't have an idea where I think Gavin would go.
Yeah, I would. I don't know either. Honestly, he's got a really big arm, so I could almost see maybe Discmania,
Yeah,
just because they're known to try and pick up players with bigger arms. I
and
mean, you got to
listen,
think Eagle, Simon, Kyle. You know, I mean,
mm-hmm. And everybody is saying that Simon's leaving.
hmm.
What if it was Gannon?
Gannon.
I
I
don't know if he's got
would.
much of contract. He's a big Prodigy fanboy. I know that. He
Right.
loves Prodigy. I know that. But I mean, he's young, and if he did pretty good, he had a pretty good year.
He did. I would be surprised, uh, simply because, like, I mean, you hear in interviews and stuff, like he's up front and open about how Shoestrick is his like mentor, all time favorite disc golfer.
Yeah.
And with Shoestrick's ties and Prodigy, to me it would be like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say. there's no way it would never happen. But this early in his career, I'd be highly surprised.
The rumors technically that people have been saying, they've been saying Simon, but they've said a top 6 player, and almost
Hmm.
every player in the top 6 is accounted for, and Gannon's in the top 6 on every ranking that you look up,
Hmm.
because it's Paul, Ricky, uh, who else was up there? I'm not gonna get them. I don't know.
Chris
Chris Dickerson probably up there.
Manabu
Gannon,
Kajiyama. Maybe it's just Manabu.
Manabu, yeah, he's going. He's going to Lone Star. No, but I mean Gannon, Ricky, and Paul are guaranteed 3 that are in the top 6,
Hmm.
and we
Calvin,
pretty Calvin. We
and I
pretty
think
much Calvin.
Calvin's
He already has said he's not leaving,
all right.
so that's 4 that we know of in the top 6, and we know Paul and Ricky are pretty much locked in, and Calvin. So there was
Hmm.
only like a couple. If it is a top 6 player, it might
Yeah,
not be actually top 6. It might have just been, but
like Jeffrey says here, I've heard the rumors of Simon to MVP. He says can confirm.
you know, I was saying before all these rumors came back, people can say I'm lying all I want, but I've got a message group with a couple of people, and I was saying that I thought Simon just out of, I thought the way he's been advertising himself was that we were going to see him leave and go to Thought Space
Mm,
and still be able to throw Discmania because he wears Thought Space all the time,
he does. That's
and it's
right. Yeah.
from up where he lives, so he's in contact with them, right? Isn't
Thought
it up?
Space is.
I thought they were up.
I was thinking
Uh,
Texas.
Thought Space is. I
Is it
thought.
not?
Hey, Stelly, do us something. Tell us where Thought Space is.
He
He's
says
on everything.
Brody. He says Brody on the move. I
Well,
that
he's not top 6, but I feel like I've heard that too.
that's
Somebody.
that's surprising because I mean Brody was throwing the Ultra Star in Ultimate
See,
for what 20 years.
that's the thing that people talk about with Brody. There's like I've heard people say that, and I was like, he would probably be one of the most surprising ones to move. I think because before disc golf, he had a huge tie with Discraft already, which a
Exactly.
lot of people don't know because of the Ultimate. So, um, who posted a picture today on Facebook? Tell us. T Rex Disc Golf just said he posted a pic today on Facebook. I don't know who he is
Who's he?
because we've talked about 3. He.
We've kind of been ADD and all around this conversation here.
Listen, that's how. This is just how it rolls. This is a live podcast. It's not scripted.
Brody. He said
Brody,
Brody.
what do you post? Hold on. What do you post on Facebook? Whoops. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. I'm on Facebook, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would be interesting to see. Brody, he's. Oh, he did post. I remembered seeing this. Testing out new discs, and let me see if I can zoom into the pile.
What?
He's got a pile of Innova discs.
What?
I don't know if I can get it up 100%. This
He
is a Team
said
Innova stamp. Let me see.
it is. Yeah.
Right here, and that's his arm. That's his watch. If you wanted to know what kind of watch he uses, um,
Massachusetts. Thought Space. Made by MVP. Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know where the company was based out of. Oh, he said there's MVP in there too. Some DD.
what? Oh yeah, that's an overmold right next to it.
Yeah, just because he's. I don't know. Just because he's
Oh, he
testing that
has. Look at this
stuff.
sign next to it too. That's a DD
Oh, is it? Oh,
right
okay.
there. That's an actual a bag. So audio listeners, I'm sorry, I'm trying to show a picture. Evidently, Brody Smith might be on the move. It looks like he's the way he's posting this. Maybe is he's shopping around.
Maybe he's going to a store rather than. I bet you he's going to be foundation only, and then he can throw whatever.
Uh, Maybe. What if they come out with their own thing? Because he's got his dark horse right in the middle of his chest. What if they're going to try to come up with their own team, like you're saying, officially make it foundation. Yeah, but
Yeah,
just like Standard just said though, he said he could be trolling.
agreed.
He is a big, so he could just be daggone throwing it out there for people to talk because he. Listen, I don't know what you think about Brody. I've liked Brody for a while.
Hmm.
I think he has good intentions most time, bad execution sometimes. Everybody generally does. Nobody can be perfect,
Hmm.
but I think it could be it could be a troll. It
I
could
think
be.
so.
But it could be one of those things too. Like maybe like you said, he's worked out a deal to where like him, Foundation, and them are going to officially maybe start launching a full team
Hmm.
or something, and he's talked to Discraft or something. Which I mean, I don't know if there's a Discraft disc in that stack, but
Yeah.
uh, where he could still have like a deal because that's one of the things we talked about. I think too is having partial bag sponsorships
Hmm.
and stuff as being kind of a future move, and I still think that is. It just makes it to where you can be more comfortable with what you're throwing. Like you can
Right.
have a choice in what you're throwing. But I don't know.
I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Are you good? I was just going to say. Okay. So this is kind of an oddball way of thinking here, and that's just how my brain's working right now. But what better way to market the brand that you like than to make a post stirring up all this, having all these different discs, and saying you're testing new plastic, and then turn around a week later and saying nothing worked for me. I'm sticking with this craft. See what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
it could be.
I mean, it could be just trolling. That's what I think. I see that. What's it? First, Kevin said
S-
that. That's first Kevin
I
Vara.
I like the cast. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he said also that Brody's trolling. Jacob said it, and I think so too. I mean,
If you listen to them talk, I mean, I've listened to their podcast a few times. I used to listen to it very often. It's just now I hardly ever get as much time to do it. But I try to just to kind of stay up with what people are talking about and
hmm.
junk. But the way he talks, he as much as people want to talk about him trolling and stuff, it seems like he tries to stay out of drama in general. He
Hmm.
makes drama happen sometimes because he says stuff, but in general, he doesn't tend to want to be in it and stuff a lot. So I don't know. Like I know he said. I mean, they're talking about him and Paul having their disagreements and stuff too. I don't know if that's enough to make somebody move because at the end of the day, they're nowhere near each other. They play against each other all the time. So even if he's uh, not sponsored by the same company, he's still gonna play. It might be not on the same card, but
Hmm.
what's funny here?
I was just laughing because you're like the beef with him and Paul. I don't know if that's enough to make anybody move. Paul literally moved to Florida.
I think Paul just
I know it was. I don't think it was
that is
that, but
pretty funny.
it was just funny that you said it. That's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, he
Well,
literally moved to a different state.
the love made Brody move
Hmm.
because he moved to Virginia, and
Yeah,
then he hated Virginia. Which
yeah,
I mean, I like where I live, but I understand it's like this time of year kind of sucks, right? I mean,
driving.
this week has not been too bad, but this getting to -3, and then it's been 65 this week,
Yeah, I
just two
know.
weeks apart, or like a week apart.
Hmm.
So, and he's from Texas, so I mean that's a huge change for him. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad that Standards brought that up to me because I literally looked at that picture and I was like, oh, maybe he's like just testing new plastic, and I literally looked at the disc in his hand and moved on. I
Hmm.
was like, oh, maybe that's a prototype disc because it was clear,
Yeah.
and I didn't even look at it. And that shows you how mindlessly I'll just scroll through stuff real quick to not even think about it. But yeah, that's interesting.
It is.
It has thrown me off a little bit, to be honest.
I didn't honestly. I didn't know about. I didn't even know about that
And
at
there
all.
is still going to be a big player supposedly come out, so that's another thing. And I mean, everybody's last year, whenever Dickerson moved, I was on that thing. Like I was talking about to the little group chat I was talking about. Um, that Dickerson I thought was leaving because he hadn't been posting. My whole thing was like, they're getting all these new molds out, and all these other dudes are posting videos with the discs, and I was like, Dickerson hasn't posted a picture with a Prodigy disc or a video of him throwing them. There's something
Yeah.
up. And then Charlie tried to throw me off the trail. Cause I was texting Charlie. He's like, "Oh, you really think he's moving? He's leaving?" I was
He
like, "Well,
knew.
listen." I was like, "He ain't." I was like, he hasn't posted one video with any new disc, and all these other dudes are. And you're telling me Dickerson, their biggest cash grabber right now, is not putting social media out for it?"
Hmm.
And then he's like, "I don't know. He hadn't said anything to me." And I was sitting there like giving him guesses and stuff. He's like, "I don't know." And then Charlie's the one with him today, helping him film. I
Oh,
was like,
Charlie.
"You lied. You lied to me."
That's funny.
But I did see somebody said that. Let's see. Did I show this yet? No, I showed it to you. So we were talking about the people leaving. So the last two I was going to mention was Mason Ford and Valerie Mandahanu. Did I say that right?
So, yeah, something like that. Mandahano or something.
They left Dynamic, so they were at Innova last year. Well, whatever year it was,
Year
and then they
before, yeah.
the year before they played on Dynamic this year, and now they were both out.
Hmm.
Um, I don't really know where they're going. It was surprising for me to see them leave right after just almost probably under a year, and just like Stelly is saying right here, I'm gonna bring it up and I will tell the audio listeners what's on the screen here. You probably, I'm sorry, this quality is gonna be bad. Picture, it was fine when I took it. So, Lone Star Disc posted a Instagram thing, and it was a U disc measurement of 514 feet with a mockingbird, and Baysinger has the disc right here. And their post said, "Which pro do you think threw their Mockingbird 514 feet at Lone Star Disc headquarters last week?" And it says, "Here's a hint: we haven't announced them yet." So I felt like that was a pretty big arm. Now,
Hmm.
Baysinger, what's the numbers on that disc? You said it was a fairway, right?
Yes, it's 7.5 -2.1.
That's a big
And
throw.
yeah, and I got it because it's got a mockingbird on
So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I understand why you have that now.
it.
He's
Was
like,
you
"I've got one of
wondering?
those."
You're like, what?
I was like, "Why has he got a mockingbird? Is he going to test it?" Um,
I've not thrown it once, I don't believe.
so, who do you have any guesses to who that would have been? I'm assuming they'll
Hmm.
announce soon.
Honestly, I hadn't seen the post and haven't. I didn't know that until you showed me right before we went live. So I haven't had any time to think about it, and I really am not sure. I don't know where to guess.
Um, I think my initial thoughts were potentially Anthony Barella because he
Mhm.
can launch a disc so daggone far, and he left Innova, and he's from Arizona. But then when we started thinking about it, and Mason Ford just left Dynamic, and he's a
Mhm.
Texas guy, I think it might be um, potentially Mason Ford.
He throws flippy stuff too, right? I'm pretty sure he
I
does
think
like
so.
hyzer flippy kind of situation.
I think he does. It's been a while since I watched him actually, but I would say I don't know. That would be my best guess at the moment because I mean that's a good throw. I don't really know his distance
Hmm.
that well. I've only seen him a handful of times in coverage, but I do know he had that win again. Was it against Ricky?
Dickerson,
Maybe was it against Dickerson?
I believe so, wasn't it?
I thought it was against Ricky because they were talking about Ricky doing that like weird run or that layup, like almost like it was a run, but it like went under the basket, wasn't even basket high for the win or something. I
Maybe.
can't, I can't remember. Um, it could have been Dickerson. I just can't remember, but he had that good win. But I think that would be my best guess. Would be him, and maybe seeing a follow up with Valerie join the team because it seems like
Hmm.
they're going. Seems like teams are kind of doing a lot of that too. A lot of the big couples that are
Hmm.
playing are jumping company to company. So
True.
uh, Lone
I
Star is picking up a lot of people.
Yeah, and I don't mean to break away from Lone Star, but you had mentioned AB, and I personally would think now that you talk about it, I would say probably that was Mason Ford would be my guess, just because you said Texas guy. I'm pretty sure he throws flippy stuff on hyzers and stuff. I
Yeah,
mean, he's what's do you know the flight numbers on a getaway? I mean, because I know he
a
has a signature
getaway.
getaway.
I feel like a getaway is a 9 speed, probably like a 9.5 or 9.6, and it might be like a 0.2 or like something like
Okay.
that. Because it might be maybe a -1.2 because the way they advertised, they might not have technically advertised it, but a lot of their players advertised the getaway as a little bit more stable escape
Yeah.
when
Okay.
it
Yeah.
came out. And I know an escape is a 9 like 6,
Hmm.
and I think it maybe was like a, I don't remember. I used to throw them like crazy. I have like probably one sitting around somewhere, but I know it was a 9 speed, so I feel like it's maybe just a touch more stable than a getaway. But those also used to beat into being like a really straight disc once you seasoned them, because if
Hmm.
escape can beat into being flippy if you got a good arm.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. It could be. I mean, it might
That's
be
what
like
I
a
think.
-1 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking that you're probably right with that, with Mason and Valerie going to Lone Star. And my guess for AB would be Discraft. And the reason I say that is because years and years ago, I don't even remember how many years ago, but I remember watching coverage where when AB was a mere child and he was like caddying for Paul. And he's always been kind of that uh, Paul, like he's been a friend to Paul, caddy, played practice rounds with him and stuff, So I think my guess would be he'd be going where Paul's going. That's my guess.
These, these comments are funny. Some of them. Yeah, I've seen the opposite argument of that, saying that he wouldn't do that because they said he didn't want to be in Paul's shadow anymore,
Okay, yeah, I see.
because that's what he was seen for a long time.
Yeah,
Was that like him and Paul were always playing together, and Paul was kind of putting him under his wing, even though he's like 8 foot tall.
hmm.
Paul would have to reach up like this, but but I've heard that they didn't think that would, but I mean, also at the same time, uh, as much as you might not want to be under somebody's wing, there's a whole thing of having contacts is a very big thing whenever you're talking about a career
Right.
and
Yeah.
when you're wanting to be successful in something. So if he has a contact that's going to get him a bigger paycheck at the end
Hmm.
of the day, a shadow might not be that bad if it means you get a big figure contract
True. Yeah.
at the same time. So that might make sense. I've always thought too that he fits in with the Smash Boys too.
Right.
Discmania. He could jump over to Discmania probably at any point in time and have a, just a super easy time transitioning, because back in the day he was able to throw Discmania if he wanted to whenever they were the same company.
Hmm.
Probably so he's, I mean, a DD3, the DD1s, all that stuff is gonna be pretty comfortable probably to him. Very
Hmm.
similar feeling. So I could see that happening. But maybe even Infinite, because he knows Drew
Hmm.
and stuff. I know somebody I know um, told me that Drew threw that Mockingjay, and I was like, Drew just did like a deal with RPM though, like, or somebody else. I was like, I don't think he's gonna do any deals that's not open bag,
Right. Yeah.
because Lone Star, to my understanding, is a full bag commitment now, because they have a full lineup. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're signing any partial bags anymore. Like you can have so many discs or something.
Yeah. That wouldn't make sense. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure they've got like 25 molds at this point. So.
Yeah, and he's also got his line out too. So if he can't throw his own line, then he ain't gonna sign
Right.
at the moment. So uh,
Drew loves his
Stelly,
white hair.
Stelly, you're not after Baysinger's heart.
Here, I thought
You.
we were friends, Stelly.
Oh, this is a good transition, Stelly. You did not win the giveaway just now.
You did not for my vote. Speaking of white herons,
Yeah, there it is. There's a
this is
white heron.
actually there it is. It's white.
No, so for the audio listeners, Baysinger right now is showing off the Kodaku. You have you said the other disc as well with you, right?
Yeah.
I'll throw this picture up real quick. We meant to actually announce winners of the two discs that Baysinger has right now in his hands last week, but it was Christmas week. I could just not get free. I was doing Christmas stuff at my wife's family's house, so uh, we are just going to go ahead and push these two discs giveaway to next week on Baysinger's episode. So he
Yeah.
has a Kodaku, and I'm giving away the Pekka Pekka. I'll throw this picture up as well, a little bit prettier picture there.
I'll take both of those.
He did take both of those pictures, and he did a very good job.
Do you like the green on the red and then the red on the green?
I do. I thought that was a really good touch. That was a good
Complete.
touch.
Well, it was a complete accident. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, so if you don't know how to enter, we did the episode 2. You can go back, listen, and watch to figure out how you can enter this contest.
Mm-hmm.
You have to watch that episode. You have to comment, but it's in the episode. I dare say I'll just make you go listen to it if you really want to win.
Right.
So
I agree,
go
yeah.
watch or listen to Just Hucking Around episode 2 to figure out how you can win that. You still have a week from now to go win that, and we will be announcing. I will go ahead and say, no matter what, those two discs on Sunday, but we are for sure planning on having the podcast next week. There's not any type of holiday that I know of going
Right.
on.
Only over on my channel, so we'll be
Yeah,
announcing. This way, this gets the viewers to tune into both of our channels. Basically,
cross promotion.
exactly.
Cross
And
promotion,
then
baby.
over there next week, do you want me to go ahead and show these, or
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
just broke something?
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but it fell off.
So Delp's giving this nice white heron away here, aka Kotaku. And then I'm giving away this Kahu
Ooh.
here. So this is one of the newer Kahus. You can see it's got the flight numbers on it.
Oh,
So-
okay, that's a new one.
Well, not
Or
new,
you
but
saying newer?
newer, yeah.
New.
Because the older
It's
ones,
newish.
yeah, the older ones used to say Kahu right here
They said it in the wing. They did.
in the wing, yeah, and it didn't have the flight number. So this is a newer version of the Kahu. So these two you can win on that, which we will do the same thing. You comment over there next week, and we'll announce the winner on here the following week.
Yeah. It's not too confusing, even though it might sound confusing.
Yeah,
Just make sure you go watch Baysinger's podcast next week with us, and you will find out if you win, if you do what you're supposed to on episode 2.
right.
So that was a good little segue for Stelly to throw in that comment for me.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, Stelly. You lost. You try on his channel.
He said, "Oh, okay." You can try on the other one.
You can try. But that was my guesses with those sponsorships and stuff, those announcements. I don't know of any other big ones yet, unless they've happened today and I've just not looked. But I think that's my best guess for the Lone Star discs. I'm pretty surprised at Lone Star this year. They seem to be gearing up for a big year.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think we see a major tour win out of a Lone Star player this year?
No, I hate to be rude. There will be some close calls and stuff, but Emerson, I don't see necessarily. I'll say this: the one person that I think may would be Nico, unless someone else does make the move over to
with the
them,
big
so.
move or something, what
Right,
they posted. Yeah, I'm up in air whether that we'll see it or not. I'm with you on at least thinking that we'll see some pretty close calls.
Hmm.
Um, oh my gosh, Jake,
Oh,
that's so funny.
oh.
So
Now I'm sorry. That was terrible of me. I was thinking only MPO. I agree, Jeffrey. Val probably will win several in MPO. Or sorry, in FPO.
wait, which Val is that? Are we talking
Mondohana,
about Valerie if she does go?
yes.
Because they're not, from what
Oh, they've
I've
not announced. Yeah,
I'm
right.
not. That's only speculation for me. So I don't know. I was assuming if she goes, then he go, or if he goes, she goes. Since they both left Dynamic, I was feeling they have something both set up.
Hmm.
Um, but if she goes, yes, that could be one of their big wins. That could be
Hmm.
definitely. I would love to say, like you said, Emerson.
Hmm.
He had a very down year, but I don't know if that's because he has the kid and has just not been on the big tour grind.
Hmm.
Grind. How did I say that? It's like I put ground and grind together.
Ground.
Listen, I'm hick.
Ground.
I'm sorry. Um, uh, he hasn't been on that grind. I don't think as hard, but maybe he's about to come off of it and come out swinging with a new sponsorship. Something that some people he can work with that's really close to him.
Hmm.
Have a facility and stuff, and just having the support near him. Maybe that'll be a new boost. I mean, sometimes that's something that people need. I mean,
True.
something that some people like to stay in a place and get comfortable, and sometimes if you get comfortable, some people get comfortable. It's not as good for them. A shake up sometimes will do something for them.
Hmm.
Uh, so we'll see. We'll see. He was competing pretty high there for like a season or two.
Yeah, I honestly, this is gonna sound rude when I say this, but I never thought that his play at those high levels was sustainable. He can throw very far, um, and when he's putting good. But to me, I just don't see him as being one of those top players that puts it together every round in a tournament. I'm not saying he's gonna have some outstanding rounds or he's gonna wipe the floor with everyone, but I don't know that he is one of those players that does it every round in order to put it together for a tournament.
Yeah, I don't know how old he is either. I'm not.
Judging by his height, I would guess 7. I'm sorry.
Next week, when Baysinger shows up with a black eye, he was visited by Emerson Keith, who
Uh, Black Chin, buddy. You better get that right.
you can't see the bruises, but my chest is black from being
Terrible,
punched.
terrible.
Uh, no, I don't know. I feel like he has the potential, which I have this uh, thing that I've always went by in my life is I feel like anybody's got the ability to achieve anything if they want it bad enough. Maybe it's not
Okay,
going to
yeah.
be as easy for you as it is for somebody else. Like it might not be as easy for Emerson as it would be for Paul, but I feel like if he had the time and put it in, he could. I've just
Hmm.
always had that mindset when I approach things. I just don't like telling myself I can't do something, so I'll be like, if somebody doubts me, I want to do it just to be like, yes, I can. So I don't know. I feel like everything's achievable if you really want to. Like I
Hmm.
said, it might be harder for you. You might have to study 80 hours a week or something like that if you want to become a doctor, and somebody else study 25 to 30 or something. I think you both can achieve it. It just might be easier for others. So I feel like maybe he could, but it would take him a lot of dedication to get into it. And it might be something that might not be as easy for him because he is a father now. So
Agree, yeah.
so that's one of those things. Maybe before he became a father, that might have been an easier potential for him to get to. I still think
Hmm.
he can compete, but like you said, maybe he won't. But maybe he could inch out like a win, especially at a tournament in Texas, his
Hmm.
stomping grounds or something like that. Go to one of the big majors. I feel like he's one of those people that if he was on at Texas State's on his game, he could come out and just blister everybody if he's there
Oh yeah.
practicing enough. So I don't know. We'd have to see. We'd have to see. It'd be
I
interesting.
I think it's also got to be some of those like courses that he's more familiar with. So,
Yeah.
like you said, Texas. Yeah, I don't doubt that maybe he could win Texas states. You know what I mean? If they say they had worlds in Texas again, yeah, maybe he could win it there. But uh,
Listen, I know this stuff that I say can come back with stuff like that, but that's an extreme for me.
I'm gonna I'm gonna tell my what Josh is talking about here. A comment here is all things disc golf says. I'm gonna tell myself I can throw 700 feet.
Listen,
Well, you can.
if you want to
Just you
get
might have to.
technical to it, I'm going to go to the top of a mountain and I will throw 700 feet.
Hey, I can throw 700 feet. It's not going to
You
be
didn't
one
tell me
throw.
how I couldn't achieve it.
It's not going to be one throw for me. I can throw 700 feet all
Hey,
day.
good point as well.
It's
Good point.
two or three throws for sure.
Touche, salesman. Uh,
It's a salesman.
that's how I that's how I approach life, at least. You know,
Yeah. Oh, it's funny.
Stelly, all things disc golf. You can, homie, if you drop a disc out of a plane.
There you go.
Truth.
World record there.
So that kind of tied in with one of the topics I was talking about. Any predictions or anything for the next season, or any events that that you're particularly looking forward to. Doesn't have to be
Hmm.
a major tour event. It can be anything event wise. Is there anything that you're looking forward to, or anything you feel like there's a good prediction for?
Mm, not really right off the top of my head. I mean, I'm just always eager to just see the season start. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
every year, I say that at the start of every year, and then I get so behind on coverage that
Uh,
like there's still videos I haven't watched from like 2020.
yeah,
You
yeah, I
know,
feel
like,
that.
but I'm always eager to see Idlewild simply because I've played that course,
Do what
and
now?
then
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Idlewild. I'm always eager to watch
Oh, okay.
Idlewild because I've played that course, and then also USDGC. I've been watching disc golf for years. I have DVDs of USDGC course, and I've played the lakefront layout there, not the full layout, but
Okay.
those are ones that I would say.
Um, for me, I can tell you one prediction I'm generally pretty comfortable with making is Dickerson is going to win Tennessee State's, and
I'm not going to say that's not going to happen because it's always going to happen.
but we both missed an opportunity on our wish list um, episode that we did for Christmas.
Hmm.
I'll say it now was that we Tennessee State's gets a new gets a new director maybe.
Well, I think just everyone knew that without being said.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That would be.
Nah. I mean, it is what it is. I like playing it, but I don't necessarily like playing it sometimes either. But
Yeah.
I enjoy the competition of it. I
Hmm.
wish I honestly wish like somebody like Tim Barr could get it
Me too.
and make it a really big deal. I feel like if he was able to get it, he could get it to a pretty high level A tier. Because
Hmm.
it already is.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It pulls a lot of people in.
Hmm.
But that's one of those tournaments that like Macbeth has said he's coming to like 4 times, has never showed up, and I think it's just because Dickerson.
I have an opinion about that I will tell you after we go off the broadcast.
Uh oh. Uh oh.
Unless you just want my hot take, right?
I
Another
mean,
second
if
hot
you
take.
want to save it, you can. But uh, if y'all didn't know, Paul Macbeth is Basinger's favorite player.
Oh no, that's not even it. I don't
Clip it.
mind. I'll go ahead and give you my second hot take. I think that Paul has been slipped some money to register to draw players in, and then
Ah.
he always ends up dropping out at the last.
Mm.
That's my hot take number
Wow.
two.
Wow.
So nothing against Paul. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, I got you. I got you, man. No, I do not want another one of these rounds either. All things disc golf. Want another rain around at Cherokee like last year? Absolutely not. He's got videos of me. I didn't. We went. It was at Tennessee State's. I didn't play Tennessee State's this year. First year I've not played it since 2019, and it was because my son was born, and I was like, I don't want to be away for a whole weekend, so I went and played the flex starts. I played Kiwanis and Cherokee, and it came the biggest downpour in a while. And Cherokee at Cherokee, it didn't rain at Kiwanis on me,
Oh,
which was I was just like, I wish it would have, because
mhm.
Cherokee we had, I think, 2 or 3 lightning delays. I was almost gonna leave because we got to hole 2, and they lightning delayed us whenever we started on hole 1 because it was a flex start.
Oh,
Me and Jimmy and a couple other people had to sit in the amphitheater for 30 minutes because it's mandatory, like a 30 or 40 minute. Started, finished off of our drives because we all had thrown our drives when they blew the horn, and then we got to hole 4, 3. They did it again, I think, because lightning hit again. We sat up at that big thing, or it was either hole 8. It was one of those places. Rained the entire day. I was soaked.
mm.
And I was sitting underneath that thing up there just going, I might leave. Jimmy was sitting there. Jimmy went with me, and I was like, we might not be staying. And we were contemplating, and they finally told us we could go. And we went, and I think we made it the whole time without another lightning delay, but it rained the whole time. I ended up winning.
Mhm. He's like all
I ended
complaining.
up
I ended up winning.
I ended up winning by one stroke, but it was miserable. He's got videos of me just, you don't even dry a disc.
Oh,
You just grab the wet disc and throw it again.
wow.
It was pretty bad. So that is a long-winded way of saying I don't want to do it again.
Yeah. I'll say one other thing about Tennessee State's before if you want to move on to something else. But
Okay.
I think I've always wondered personally why Tennessee State's is not moved to sometime later in the year, October, November, because the end of the tour always finishes over in South Carolina. I mean, Rock Hill in October. The tour championship finales are always in North Carolina. If Tennessee State's was moved over to, uh, say, late October, early November,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so maybe not early November, but sometime early October, we'll say they could potentially it could be a pro tour stop.
Yeah, it could
And
be.
now it would have to be rearranged. I think they'd have to do maybe Panther, uh, and then possibly Harmon or something like that. You know what I mean? Panther, Harmon. They'd have to do more traveling,
Yeah.
but or maybe Rotary Blues, Panther, and then one round up at Harmon, if that falls within the driving distance.
Yeah. I mean, I think that would be cool. They could at least maybe try it as a silver series.
Yeah, exactly.
Get a
Yeah,
silver series in. And one thing like you're talking about, although I know it's really been cool to have it in Morristown and stuff, is that it's Tennessee State's and they never do it in any other part of the state.
yeah, that's unfortunate. But
Which
I
I'm not
mean,
for a lot of them, but that's one of the things I've looked at. It's the states, and then you never see any other courses other than the 4
I think
in
that's
Morristown.
simply because the name is owned by HB, honestly.
Probably.
Because I did see a couple of years ago they did a Tennessee. There was something else that had a similar name,
Hmm.
but it obviously wasn't Tennessee State Championship. It was like I don't even know. I don't want to say the name incorrectly, but
Championships of the Tennessees.
exactly nailed it. But I want to say it might have been like the West Tennessee State
Oh, okay.
Championship or West Tennessee Championships or something like that.
Well,
But
see,
they had something else,
you have Music City, that's huge,
right?
but in Tennessee States, you would expect like if there's a tour stop, that at
Hmm.
some point in time, maybe during Tennessee States, you would see that tour stop in Tennessee States
Hmm.
as like because I mean there's big tournaments that have repeat like
Yeah.
worlds repeats courses that have been played that year sometimes because you
Hmm.
did was it last year you had the DDO and then worlds was it worlds at the country
Emporia.
club and
Yeah.
stuff Emporia. So I mean that happens. So I mean it would make sense that that could happen. Um,
Or if they would just maybe move states to around the time of the Music City Open. The problem is, music or Tennessee State's is always the same weekend as Beaver State Fling,
yeah, it is.
and that's been a staple. I know it's not necessarily a pro tour event. I think it's a Silver Series now, but I mean, like I remember years where like Shoestrick and Zach and them would not come to Tennessee States because they were going to Beaver State Fling. And why
Yeah,
wouldn't they if everyone else is there? You know what I mean?
that's true. That's true. It's an interesting one. I, I've, I wish that tournament could get a little bit bigger
Hmm.
and be ran a more efficient, better way,
Hmm.
so that people don't get mad about it. Because I mean, I remember ever since I've played it, I think I've heard people grumble, which is going to
Yeah,
happen to tournaments and stuff. But it just seems like it's generally not heard very well.
yeah. Well, I agree with all things disc golf here in the comments. It says Panthers the only course that could be a pro tour level course in Morristown. Agreed, or maybe Frank Blues could be, but that doesn't mean you couldn't take Cherokee and extend some holes. You know what I mean?
Well, there's a golf course there too, right?
Oh, there's
Somewhere in
several.
Morristown.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's a
there's the
few.
one that's over towards. I don't remember what part it's in, but is it Wood Lake? Wood Lake is like in between Tazewell and Morristown,
I'm
over
not
towards the
sure.
Bean Station side. I've played golf there before. It's a beautiful place. I'm not a big fan of uh, like golf course disc golf, just
Hmm.
because in general it tends to just be throw as far as you can every hole. But
Hmm.
if they're needing another pro tour course, it's always an option
Yeah,
just to have a hybrid uh, golf course. And I mean, usually that helps the golf courses a lot too,
right.
especially if it's in a down time of the year. But like you said, if it was later in the year, that's usually when golf is slowing down
Hmm.
too. So I mean, it would give them another thing. So I mean, that could be an option to have a big just mashers course because Panther is a bombers course and a woods players course.
Hmm.
You need to be able to throw far and be able to throw in the woods
Accurately, yeah.
accurately. So I mean, if you had one that was just a bomber course, that would be okay. And
Hmm.
I think Harmon Gold would be a possibility too. I've not played it yet. I really want to. We should go film it.
No,
Yeah.
I don't have the arm for that.
Well,
No,
I
I'll
mean,
try it. I'll try it.
hey, I just want to play it, and I want to film there because I've only ever filmed one video there, and it was very reminiscent of the round All Things Disc Golf was talking about. It rained the whole time, so all I did was
Mhm.
film every tee shot. That
Oh,
was it.
okay.
Because it was when they put the new tees on the front 18, and I
Hmm.
wanted to film the new tees, and that's been a couple years ago, so or at least a year and a half ago. So it's probably pretty bad video.
Jacob says he's surprised Harmon isn't considered for attorney, but I don't know if he's forgetting that they have 2017 USWDGC and then 2020 Masters Worlds there.
They've got another one coming up. I'm pretty sure too. I'm pretty sure Tim won a bid for some event. He's been putting in a lot of work from what I can see, and he's trying to build it up to
Hmm.
the point to where they could potentially get a pro tour stop, not a pro
Hmm.
toy stop.
Pro
Uh,
Tours.
um, because, like you said, he had 2017 Women's Masters Worlds was
Hmm.
here, and
Or no.
not
Yeah,
here.
USWDGC at Harmon. Yeah.
Yeah, USWDGC, but didn't they do
Hmm.
Masters Worlds there too?
Yeah. 2020.
Yeah, Yeah, Masters Worlds was there, and I feel like he has another one set up, and that might be why he's working on that gold layout. And they're
Hmm.
also working on that layout for Warriors,
Hmm.
because Warriors is going to end up being two 18-hole courses, and one I think is supposed to be harder than the other. It's going
Yeah.
to be the white and the yellow baskets.
I've also heard, I don't know if you've heard this yet, and I'm not too sure. I don't know how familiar you are with Greenville, but I've heard at Kinser Park in Greenville, they're going to be. I've heard they're trying to get two courses in there as
Oh,
well. It's
really?
supposed to be bigger courses. I'm not sure if that's confirmed or if they're working on it or what, but I've heard that Tim had been in the works with that. So
Okay.
we'll see. Maybe that could be the stop because Greenville's just outside of Harmon, and then like Warriors is what from Greenville 25 minutes maybe. So
Maybe.
the most 30 minutes I would say. So
That's true. All things disc golf said that Harmon Gold would be possible, but the cell service might be rough because the live broadcast. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way to that they could fix that. They could fix it if they had wires, but that's not going to happen.
right.
If they weren't operating off of live broadcast, everything being wireless cameras running off of Wi-Fi and stuff, and it was like golf courses where every camera is hardwired in to like a truck that has a satellite or something
Hmm.
on it. But yeah, that might be a problem unless they just went ahead and said this is going to be a post production like
Yeah.
reboot or something. Sucks, but I mean,
Well, I don't know that it's too bad there because I do remember when I filmed the 2017 USWDGC there. I remember specifically, and Amanda's here with me. She was there with me then too. But I remember when I was recording, Shoestrick was live at Harmon on his phone.
it really depends on on who you have as a cell provider because
Okay.
my cell service goes out about a quarter of a mile past the pizza place.
Oh, okay.
Soon as I take
See.
the right to go to Harmon, once I go down that road about a quarter of a mile, I lose all cell service and I don't get it back until I come back out of Harmon. I might
Wow.
get a random text message every now and then, but I can't send anything or anything like that. Like I can keep a U disc, but I can't look up people's profiles to add them into it and stuff.
Wow.
So it's just, but then I'll be standing next to somebody else and they'll just be like,
So you're if we ever play Harmon, we got to meet at Pizza Plus first and put our card in and then head over to the course.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I always keep the card in tournaments and stuff. So just for me, it's way easier to add if you
Hmm.
have to keep a paper card, which at Harmon he usually does make you because some people just don't get service.
Yeah.
And on a card, if you have a whole card of people without service, you can't do it. So he's just usually doing turned in
Excuse me.
paper cards for Harmon for now.
Hmm.
He does sometimes have like a hot spot that he brings. Tim does, so that he can get on the internet and put stuff in. But
Mm.
yeah, that would be an interesting one. Harmon's like it has been my favorite course for a long time. Like I said, I have a spot in my heart now for the course here. But
Hmm.
I have a hard time saying Harmon is my favorite course, but it is probably still my favorite course if I'm having to pick like just not what I helped design.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah. I mean, you got to
but
like the one that you designed.
yeah, I think we're gonna start working on it some more too here. But yeah, I wish Harmon would get on a pro tour with the big names, at least with the gold layout. I think the gold layout would be something that would be pro tour worthy.
Right. Yeah.
I know the regular layout, like he's saying, is too easy, and it is because I mean, I can score on that layout, and Dickerson's shot ridiculously there before
Hmm.
because it's not the most insane. It's basically the front 18 uh, uh, position golf. Put yourself in position and you score. You don't have to
Right.
throw far, really.
You also have to consider the rounds that Dickerson has there. It's basically in his backyard, and
Yeah,
he's probably played more rounds there in 1 year's time than like you or I together have played ever. You know what
I've
I
probably
mean?
played more rounds there than I have like in a week.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I don't think, and that's what I've always thought about with Tennessee States. Yeah, there's going to be people come out and just have some good, really good rounds if they get practice rounds in. But nobody, I don't care, Paul, Calvin, Conrad, these Woods golfers, nobody's going to come out there and shoot what Chris is shooting at Harmon first try. It's not going to happen.
Listen, I can't remember what year it was. I think I was still playing advanced, so it's at least been a year and a half or two ago. I played Harmon, and the rounds started. It both rounds. I think it rained the entire time there,
Mm-hmm.
but soon as the round started, it started pouring the rain. Never stopped, and Dickerson shot an 81,
Mm-hmm.
which I think was tied with course record
Yeah.
or was the course record, but it had like an asterisk next to it because it rained so much before that Tim had to put a temp basket in on hole 12.
Oh wow.
So you know how hole 12 goes straight and then goes to the right in that fairway?
Mm-hmm.
Um, that whole right side fairway, you had to walk up on the left side of it because it was just water
Oh
standing
wow.
there. So he put a basket, it was about 300 feet out to the left and straight, kind of next to Eight's fairway there.
Okay.
So he shot an 81, and I can't remember. I feel like that was on all 27,
Mm.
right? So par is technically, I think, 100 there or something, and he shot like an 81. It was, and it was raining the entire time. I was just like, "What is wrong with this guy?"
Oh yeah. If you
It's
ever
like
want
it's like he's a gecko or something.
to
Like he
gecko,
can't. It doesn't affect his grip at all.
if you ever want to hear a funny story, hear that story in full. Talk to Seth Overbay about that because I've heard that story over and over about how Chris shot course record, tied course record in just pouring rain.
It rained the entire time, so I was just like, when we finished, I was like, that sucked. Nobody could have shot good. And they was like, Dickerson shot course record. I said, well, of course he did, but
So you
uh,
shoot like 10 under par, and they're like, that's a 603 rated round.
it might have helped me that day. Honestly, him shooting so low, it might have helped the ratings. I don't know, uh, but I think with that and the rambling and stuff, I don't know that I really have much else. Do you want to try that little game I was talking about real quick?
Yeah, sure, we can.
All right. Hey, let me see. Do you just want to come up with a random flight number and see if I can guess it, and me do the same thing for you? It doesn't have to be the disc you're thinking of, but I just see if I can name a disc that's in that flight number range. Or do you want me to do that to you?
Yeah, sure, go for it. Yeah. You go ahead, and I'll try, and then I'll be thinking of one.
Okay, let me see.
Now, what if two discs have the same flight numbers, though?
That's fine. That's fine as
Okay.
long as you get the flight numbers right. Even though I
Okay.
hate flight numbers,
Oh,
I
so
just
I'm
thought.
guessing the flight numbers rather than the disc.
Well, no. Well, which one do you think would be better? Do you think me giving you flight numbers and you trying to guess a disc, or me tell you a disc and you guess the flight numbers? Would that be more entertaining? Guessing
Um,
flight numbers. That might be better.
yeah, maybe that might make it more fair because I feel like the other way. There's so many discs that have the same flight numbers,
That
and
is
and
true.
I could get the flight numbers right, and you'd be like, nope,
I was gonna Google it.
nope,
Uh,
that's not the one.
let's see. Give me the flight numbers to a. Um, I know this is gonna make you so happy.
Don't you do it.
A Prodigy H3V2.
Okay, let me get my. Give me 1 minute. I'm just joking. I don't have my screen on here. I
Oh
was like,
yeah,
give me
we
1
didn't
minute.
hold our phones up, I guess, when we were guessing.
Okay, Prodigy H1V2.
H3V2. H3.
H3V2. Okay, I'm gonna guess. Um, I'm thinking.
Staley
I'm
said
sorry.
Prodigy numbers don't exist.
Don't. I'm gonna say 11 4. No, 11 5 -1 2.
Well, did you study right before this?
No, is that it?
That's exactly the flight numbers.
Are you kidding me?
Hold on, let me see if it'll focus. 11, 5, -1, 2. Are you kidding me? I thought you were
Oh,
not. I would have missed it.
dude, I work at a disc golf shop. I gotta know at least a
Prodigy
range.
didn't have numbers on their discs
What? What?
until recently.
I don't know.
I would
Heck
not
yeah.
have gotten that right. I would have guessed maybe a 10 speed. That's where I would have at least got it wrong. I
Okay.
wouldn't have said 11.
I almost said 12, and I was like, no, I feel like it's not a 12. I feel like it's down. Wow. Okay. Let me think of a disc here.
Watch, I'm going to get this really
You see,
wrong.
you see what? Did you see what Jeffrey said? You have to throw his comment up while I'm looking at
Which one?
the.
The
He said,
Prodigy.
how can I win this since I can't win Baysinger's wire?" Okay. Name a disc, Amanda. She said a disc. Okay, I'm gonna say Innova Mako 3.
Oh my gosh. A Mako 3. See, I can't
3.
remember. I can't remember what the 3s stand for when it comes to the. I can't remember if that's less glide or not. But I'm going to say a 5, 4, -1, 0.
Mm,
Is wrong.
it's from what I'm seeing here, the Innova Mako 3 is 5500 if it's shown.
Ah, I could have swore. What's the 3 stand for? So
Ooh,
that I would.
Jeffrey.
I know he
Jeffrey
had it.
got
He's googling it. He ain't on camera.
it. That's funny.
Nah. Do you know what the 3 stands for? I can't remember. I thought it was less glide, so I didn't know. Or is it
It's let me think, because there's the X. I
T
did know.
Rex
So
disc golf?
rock.
Don't vote for him.
No, it's more glide
It's
because
more glide.
the rock 3 is a more glidey rock, and the rock X3 is a more overstable glidey rock. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
yeah.
Or faster. That's what it is. It's a faster speed, I believe.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I'm guessing the original Mako was maybe a 4.
See, I was thinking less glide, so I went 5, 4, and I went -1 because I'd thrown one before and it went to the right. Some.
Yeah.
So, so it threw me off. So I didn't think it had any fade, so I got the 0 right at least.
Yeah.
If I'd have just said 0, I'd have been really close on the turn.
So
But
are we going to put like tally marks up 1 point for me,
yeah,
and
hold
then
your
next
finger
time
up.
we do another, just so next time we come on the podcast, I'm just going to be like this. I'm number 1 right now. Or
Yeah.
are we doing
Do you
one
want to
per
do another one?
episode or what?
Do you want to do another one, or do you just want to save it for once an episode? Either way
We do
works for
one
me.
per episode.
Okay,
That way I go home with the
fine.
win today.
I
No,
don't
it's your
have any
podcast.
redemption.
You choose.
We can do one an episode. I
Oh,
think that's fun.
let's do no. I like that. Let's do 2. That way we both we each have 2 chances,
Have a
so we could
shot.
potentially tie.
Okay.
And then maybe if we tie, then we do one more
Oh, like a tiebreaker.
and for a
Jeffrey gives us
tiebreaker.
one.
And then yeah, somebody in the comments can give us a tiebreaker.
um, let's see. What disc do I want to give you to tell me numbers to?
I know it's hard to choose.
How about we do a? Ooh, I don't want to do this company because low key you might know them now because you like Nico. Okay. How about what's that? What's that disc? A Lone Star Discs. Why I can't even remember the name of the disc. The one that's is it the Bowie or the driver or what's the name of that disc?
There is a Bowie, yeah.
Is there a Bowie?
Hmm.
Let me Google it real quick. If that's a disc, then
It is. It's a distance driver.
okay, that's the one I was thinking. The Lone Star discs, you probably know it. Uh,
I I don't, but I'll give it a guess.
Bowie flight numbers, because it's got a blade on it, right? Okay,
I
I'm
I'm
ready.
not sure. Okay. Um, I'm gonna guess. I know it's a distance driver, so I'm gonna say this is their beefy boy. So I'm gonna say something like an X Cal. So it's like 12402.
Okay, it's 13504. It
Okay,
is a
so
beefy
it's
boy.
it is a beefy
I
boy.
thought
I
you were
was
gonna get
thinking,
it
wow. Okay, so
right there. At least that's what this brought straight up, and
okay.
that says it's infinite. So I don't know if I've had people tell me infinite, but where's infinite numbers? Well, whatever. That's how it flies.
All right.
So my chance.
Okay, let's see here.
Oh,
So
let me put
since
this
you
up here.
you went with I won't say smaller because they've got 12,006
He's gonna
discs
go
now.
Franklin.
The Franklin RT Night Owl. No, I'm joking. We're
It's
gonna go with the Clash Discs Berry.
ooh. Let me see here. It's a 5. It is a 4 negative 1 1.
Oh my gosh, so close. One number off. It's 5 5 negative one
No.
one.
See, I thought I was gonna get that one because I reviewed one.
Oh,
And
ooh,
I remembered it was extremely close to the numbers of an M4, I think, and
oh,
it felt
okay.
like an M4, but I don't even know the M4 numbers, so that wasn't relevant at all.
You said that wasn't relevant.
It just felt like an M4, and I thought it was going to fly like one. Okay, well, you're winning 1-0 right now.
1-0.
Okay,
Amanda,
no
remember that.
tiebreaker.
I'm winning.
Okay, well, remember the giveaway that we have going on this channel. Go watch episode 2. Share
Hmm.
this episode here. Go check out the podcast if you're on Spotify or Apple, and also make sure you go over to Baysinger's channel and subscribe if you're not. Subscribe here if you've not. Oh my gosh,
They're used. Sorry.
he
They
said they're
were
used
brand
now.
new. Now they're used.
But make sure that you are subscribed to both of us and check out the podcast. Let us know what you think. Give us some ideas. We're always open to it. But next week we're over there and we are giving away those 2 discs that Basinger just threw into the ground. Um, so uh, that's all I've got.
Uh,
Make sure if you are interested in any type of merch or anything, check both of our channels out. We both got some shirts going up. So yeah. Anything else from you?
I, I don't believe so. Just thanks to, we had a bunch of people commenting tonight. So thanks to
Yeah.
everybody. I actually saw Jacob Sanders this week and told him to come chat with us sometime. So thanks, Jacob,
Really? He
for
listened.
coming on here and talking. He's a good dude. Jacob's good people. Jeffrey,
Yeah.
stop the white hair and comments. Um, I'm just joking. No, uh, that not much. Just happy New Year to everyone. I hope
Yep.
everybody had a good Christmas. I know we haven't spoke to anybody since, so um, everybody have a good rest of your night, and then go back to work tomorrow morning. I guess.
Yeah. Thanks for the comments, everybody, and we'll
Yeah,
see you next time. Come over to Baysinger's channel next week, same time. Till
yeah.
next time.
Thank you all.
Peace.